Well, I made it to the lavanderia, the laundromat, and Mustafa kind of surprised me. There was a pretty strong fragrance when I got in his, what do you call them things? Honda something. It's a SUV, Honda Odyssey. I could even see his little prayer rug folded up neatly right beside me. But you know what? The fragrance in the vehicle wasn't potentiated, did not affect my breathing at all. And so therefore, he gets a 5-star rating. See, I don't care. I don't have a agenda here. The only thing I really care about is whether or not they're suffocating me or the vehicles too. But as of right now, I got maybe like 2 hours before the pain relievers wear off and I got to be back in camp. But at least I'm getting it done. I've had a bath. And actually, even the stuff was true in what they said. It was a light fragrance. The fragrance is already pretty much dissipated. If you put your nose right up to my skin, you can smell a real light, non-potentiated. So I got 3 big. And by the way, the old black dude who dropped me off that sleeping bag that night, I told you I'd looked in the top once and it looked like it was camo. No, that was actually like apparently a camo rain fly that goes over the bag. And I'd noticed when he first gave it to me, I've mentioned it on video, that I could see little white spots, like maybe white mold. At least it ain't black mold. And actually, when I went to unpack it, it was soaked through and through. That's why it was so heavy. I don't know how I did it because I had it double bagged and away from the. I just don't know how. I guess one tiny little pinprick in the 2 bags was, and that rain fly that goes over the bag. The bag's actually brown. It closely matches my color scheme. But that rain fly was so covered with white mold, it was unsalvageable. I'm not going to, because these are not sterilizing washing machines. And you can't really get it hot. You can sterilize it but I don't really want all them white spores getting all over everything. And it appears to be, honestly, when I was taking it out, it was all wet and shit. I mean, just totally saturated. It got the biggest jolt of soap, I guarantee you that. It looks like a mummy bag. I can't, trust me, it won't be used until actually, I'm not even going to use anything other than my rain jacket today. The other 2 jackets, the zip up hoodie and the 2 zip up hoodies, one of them's a thick layer. It's not going to be used until tonight or tomorrow. Because all I actually need is, and you can see I've already got on 2 fresh, clean t-shirts. And I swabbed them pits actually 4 times every time I would. Feels good to be bathed. This was from October 27th until today. So that makes 18 days, I think, or 18 or more days I got out of that set of clothes. And after I come out of this, I'm going to be, I even managed to find in the trash on the way, a very clean, it's still in the box, uh, a an advertising thing that's smooth enough to, anyway. And it's perfect because when you put it face down, it's dark chocolate brown. You can't even see it's there. So I've actually found a good mat for my, and actually they said it was going to be raining right now, 8:30. It's supposed to be I think it's actually based on radar and other stuff. I think it's actually pretty much over. It's just going to be probably overcast a lot. And I only had 2 hours sleep. I got to tell you, see, I didn't go to lay down until 2 o'clock, and somebody must have spotted me. I didn't go down to lay down until 2 o'clock. I really didn't need to carry a sleeping bag or anything, or both bags were wet anyway. The only things that I'm pretty sure are dry are my 2 blankets. I can just tell by the weight when I pick them up that they haven't sucked up any water, and they're twist. I literally tied the top into a knot. I didn't rely upon any kind of built-in string tie or something. You just spin it around and get it good and tight, pull it through, and cinch it up. And tonight, if all goes well, that's maybe all I'll use is one of my blankets. And my outer. I don't really remember what tonight's low is supposed to be. It may only be 52. We're having this little warm spell, which actually, anytime we get a chance to get some sunlight on the soil and get some warmth up here, it actually delays and blocks the northers coming in from Canada. So every day that it stays warm here and every day that we get sunshine on the soil and masonry, it slows down so God, it's so good to be finally. And actually I could tell when I got it was, my shoes were stinking, although when I actually checked them in the bathroom, there was kind of a funky odor, but I got a feeling wasn't my shoes. It was the stink coming out of that brown bag that the black dude, I've already thrown away the outer, and it even had like back strap, like shoulder straps to carry it on and stuff. But the minute I spotted it this morning when I was reback, I could tell that it's had a bad, but it's mostly limited to the top where it's waterproof. That waterproofing was holding the mold spores in and wasn't allowing it to spread throughout the whole sleeping bag. So I think the sleeping bag's salvageable. We'll see. At least I've brought plenty of bags because before I go back, both sleeping bags will be double bagged, and probably will be my set of clean clothes. Actually, I got a spare shirt. They're really cool, and with the 4 threads that I like, it's a nice looking shirt. Wears well. I mean, it's like 6 months old at this point. 7 months with heavy wear. See, if you have a lot of clothes, you think clothes last forever because you're not wearing them every day, all day long. And actually, it's quite comfortable. I'm sitting here barefooted, as you can see. And don't worry, I got some benzalkonium chloride wipes for whenever I put my shoes back on. But them shoes was going to get washed because they're full of, that black clay and stuff that's around that area. It's all the rain and mist. And they did finally irrigate last night, if y'all are keeping up with my little day-to-day stuff. I'm glad I got here second. Actually, the other lady the lady that beat me here, she recognized me from Walmart. She said, "We hadn't seen you in a long time." Well, I just haven't been in your area or whatever. So we haven't seen you at the store. I might actually go there today to get some more kefir because last night I may have mentioned that I could kind of feel it, and without really much effort, I went in and dropped a dead solid deuce, almost no wipe. You always wipe to make sure you get every little. Matter of fact, I did 3 just to be sure and dug up in there. But now I got on a clean pair and I bought them, I think a size smaller because they're tighter, they're less likely to ride up. Reebok. And I've got 2 of the Athletic Works boxer briefs because I'm getting to where I'm seeing the benefit of wearing briefs. Is if nothing else, they act as a little catcher's mitt for any kind of sharding, any kind of frankenfood dysentery. So I've still got about 20 minutes to wait on before my first washer, at least that, before it finishes. It always takes longer than they actually say it is. There goes Tide. I used to use the little Tide packets, but Tide leaves a real strong fragrance in the fabric. I use no residual fragrance, no dyes, no nothing, super mild. I'm just hope I can salvage that sleeping bag the dude gave me because I don't even know if it'll even fit me. Now I got to look at it. I'm not sure if it's actually long enough to accommodate me. It may be like trapping myself in a mummy and then putting that inside of the other bag and tarp over that in really cold weather. But like I told you, we've still got 30 to 35 days that they're predicting relatively mild weather compared to last year. So I'm not worried about too much. I don't think I'll need a hotel room, especially now I worked out and I did go ahead and order. Actually, they could tell when I went to the clean wash, the first thing they put up there was not Uber X. They put up Uber XL and gave it to me at a reasonable price because they handle my medical thing too, which they're supposed to have on my notations. Must accommodate a man 6'5". Yeah, I'm shrunk down to 6'5", and no fragrances. And actually, I was surprised because it was kind of you can tell it wasn't produced in this country. The fragrance he was using probably came from his home country. And it didn't have any stupid American, pesticide fragrance potentiators in it. That stuff just murders me. We've had, because of the occasional rains and stuff, we've actually had periods where the air quality is rated excellent, where there's almost nothing in the air. There's almost no pollution and no pollen and no dust, and it really affects mood. But I'm going to poop out here in about 2 hours. Because actually I noticed last night that I realized that without the pain pills, this arm really wasn't going to work. And actually it's doing pretty good this morning because the pain isn't limiting my, use of it. When you hit a point and the pain just starts killing you, you just stop. Anyway, actually I kind of like this, the overcast. It's easier on my eyes. And Wednesday Kennedy, if you're listening, I couldn't answer it because I was going to bed last night. I couldn't answer your questions. All I can tell you is that only translating poetry and lyrics, especially lyrics and songs, is difficult to do because I don't know what they're going for. I don't know, like that first song that you played on your video, it almost came off like Spanish Heart is what I was translating it. They were kind of closer to being Spanish than any Central or South American dialect I've run across. But again, that's their singing voices. So you asked me to translate, and I could actually only understand a few words. But that's true for American song lyrics too. Especially with the age of heavy metal and all that. I still can't translate because I can't even tell what the song's about. So I hope you'll forgive me if I didn't respond properly last night. I kept getting agitated. I did mention it. I laid down at 2 o'clock. It started raining and we had a quick burst of relatively light rain. And right as it started raining, a dude who comes up who didn't speak a word of English and tried to give me food at 2:15 in the morning. Fajitas. He was, ¿Tienes hambre? No tango hombre. Hombre. It's a slight vowel. Hombre is hungry. Hombre is man. I made it clear before he got out of the vehicle and came around, and I had to clearly say, no quiero comida, señor. My God, it's almost 2:30 in the morning. I'm trying to sleep, and you actually think I want to just sit there and gorge myself like these. See, that's the biggest problem I see, is that almost everybody here, and of course, have lumped me in with other homeless people instead of accepting the fact that I'm the exception to the rule. I'm not a wastrel. I'm not a spendthrift. I'm not some low IQ dummy. At age 70, I still have most of my teeth. And I'm not a boozer, not a drug addict, droguero. Hasta luego. Adios. Dios bendiga, I think is. So people always think that I want food, and I want the food that they eat. No, you need to get your shit straight on that. It's y'all have spent enough money just on food that's I've taken to the trash can or rejected enough to have housed me for the past 580 or 90 days. I'm creeping up on. It's January 1st. It's 23 months since the injuries, where I've been just completely neglected, abused, and treated like shit by the American healthcare system, specifically Baylor Scott and White, and actually almost all the medical facilities in Austin. So remember, my present is your future, and it's going to be worse. I've already told you. When you get old, it's just not going to happen for you. Only Trump can pull us out of this, and I don't know how much repair. It's going to take 12 years of classical liberal control of the White House to get this ship of state back on an even keel. If we don't, it's going to take 12 years. If we can't occupy that White House for 12 years, because heaven help us if another Democratic person gets in there. You might want to watch the movie Beekeeper to see what happens when the Beekeeper is almost really about Joe Biden's son. What's his name? It really is. It seemed to be almost entirely based on it. It was made during the Hunter Biden. I'll see you guys later. It's 17 minutes. I probably won't even upload this till later. But this has been the Morning Cup. Later.